Disclaimer. This documentary will be discussing sensitive topics and will include imagery that some would consider triggering. Viewer discretion is advised. Mental health is a sensitive subject which many have subjective views on. In today's generation, it's a topic in which can be either controversial or accepted. But it wasn't always like that. During the 1940s to the late 1990s, mental health was not seen, nor was things like autism, ADHD, bipolar, OCD, and so much more. We are in an age where it is more widely accepted, but it can still be seen as invisible. The interviews conducted will show a side of mental health that is being brought into the spotlight. Joining me is a counsellor who works in student support and well-being. She has experience in the area of mental well-being and has helped countless students with problems in which they cannot discuss. This is her side of the story.
I think because the misconception of when they are children growing up into a young adult, people don't realise that their feelings and emotions are not the same as when they were younger. So something that may not have affected them when they were younger could affect them as a teenager or vice versa. Something that affected them as a child may affect them in a completely different way as a teenager. Yes, there is. And for especially between males between 40 and 50, I think it's because our support in the UK is bottlenecking. So when people are referred to counselling, especially when they leave school or get to 18 and they're no longer with CAMHS and they go into the adult world of mental health support, there isn't enough there. It's a lot of wait time, a lot of referrals, and with the cost of living crisis, for any age, it can be a worrying time. And I think people sometimes just want the noise to stop, and suicide to them is their best option.
Yeah, I'd say I do because of probably trauma, things that have gone in my past, that sometimes you wake up and you just don't want to be here. And the only way that you can sort of get through the day is to change your mentality and believe that things are going to be different, no matter what you're faced with.
I think there is a stereotype because, especially stuff with like autism, ADHD, Down syndrome, stuff like that, people always think that we're kind of like stupid or not as smart as anyone else. And that we all just obsess over the same thing as well, and you know, it's not really like that at all.
I'd say a lot, to be fair. I think it pretty much runs in my family. Like my mum struggled with her mental health, so when I was growing up, it's like difficult to watch. And then with other family members and myself being bipolar, it's like it gets you every day, but you just sort of have to depend on the positive side, I guess. I don't know. Like it does affect a lot of things, but if there's nothing that you can do about it, then you just sort of learn to get over it or learn to cope with it to make it better, I guess.
I think it's the whole stereotype of men don't cry or should not cry, and they're seen as weak if they cry, or if they're seen as someone who's sort of not being, you know, the happy person all the time. There's this thing like men don't like feeling weak, but it's okay. It doesn't matter what gender you are or anything like that. It's about how you're feeling, and it's about recognising how you're feeling and talking about it.
My father, he seems to think that you can't get stressed if you don't work. This was a big part of my grievance during my first ever year of college during Bible 6, because I was really stressed. New environment, new stuff, new way of learning. And then he comes up to me. He's like, "You can't be stressed. You don't you don't work." And it's the whole thing, mate.
That it's just people being lazy when it's not. It's actually like, it does stop you from doing things sometimes when it's very bad, and people assume that you're just being lazy and not able to do anything, but it's not.
So in 2020, my mother, she got a different job due to COVID, and she met someone, and it changed their relationship with my parents. And it's been a bit difficult because this woman I've trusted my whole life up until I was 13 changed completely in the space of months. And I haven't spoken to her in like a year, and I'm doing fine mentally. You know, it doesn't change my days, but every now and again, it's strange her not being in my life.
Yeah.
And kind of just forgetting that she exists after being such a big part of it. But other than that, not really. I just kind of get on with my days.
I wish I could take my eyes out and give them to someone for a day and be like, well, be in my shoes and see what I see for a day.
Like, don't be quick to judge. Don't be, like, you know, so easily, like, don't be so easily judgmental of other people.
The attention that mental health gets now is that either people romanticise it, that like it's something to brag about if they've got these problems and everything.
Speak to people, because if you let things eat away at you, it's just like, it's not good. It'll just keep going and going to the point where you can't take it anymore. It's just getting things off your chest and telling people.
I think it's important. I think that we haven't gone softer. We're just more knowledgeable. And I think that older generations are arguably worse in terms of obviously mental health.
Mental health takes a toll on us in life. It can make or break our social life, our jobs, our education, and so on. It's taken people from us and has caused lives to become a living nightmare. So to those who suffer, those who stick to the shadows out of fear of judgment, you are valid, you are unique. Let people know who you really are, and let people know how you actually feel. After all, mental health can be like a flip of a coin.